I decided instead of telling you all about market stats, my numbers, how I can help you buy or sell your home, I actually wanted to tell you about who I am, my story, my journey to hell and back. I'm going to share some things that I have learned along the way. People usually know me as I'm a mother to many, but only have one mini me. I'm an extreme animal lover. I have 3 Great Danes, don't ask. I've always been a huge dreamer and solution finder. I always believe there is a way to fix pretty much anything if we look at it from a different perspective. My dreams have always been and caused others to pretty much freak out and say it's impossible, till I show them it isn't and it never was. I'm a connector of people and a natural networker. My goal is to connect people almost like a conveyor belt on any path they're on. I am someone never scared to call out the truth for justice. Doesn't matter how big or small that is. My hope today in sharing my health story with you is that it gives someone hope. Let someone know you aren't alone, or maybe even give you the strength to know you can get out of your own hell too. We were meant to share our stories and life lessons with each other, to learn from each other, not to shame one another. No one gets out of this life unscathed. No one is scar-free. So if we know that, why do we strive to only share our perfections? We are all human, going through the same struggles, just on different levels. I never have been one to be quiet, but this journey that I'm about to tell you took my voice and I had to find it again, and I have. So I hope others learn you can do it too. I was a teenage mother with big dreams that somehow was lucky enough to meet her best friend and love of her life at 15 and love him and be married to him for 18 years and have a beautiful daughter to show for it. He was my biggest cheerleader, the rational to my huge crazy goals. He showed me and my daughter unconditional love and versions of ourselves that I am so grateful for. While he was cheerleading though and pushing me to follow my dreams and start in real estate, we never knew that me reaching them would be the catalyst for him to lose who he was. After about 3 years of me starting my team, my dreams exploding into everything I had ever dreamed of, I realized I hadn't learned yet some very important lessons that are mandatory to know and understand in this journey called life. If you want joy, love, happiness, success, anything, and to be able to share it with anyone like I crave to do, then it's a mandatory requirement. You will end up creating your own hell like I did if you don't. First lesson I learned, self-love, self-care. Above all else, you can't help anyone else from an empty cup. You can't give the love to your family or be present if you give all of yourself to everyone else. That's including moms, giving all of your cup to your family. You must feed you first. From food to joy to knowledge to love to growth, everything you wish for someone you love, you must mirror off of you first. That's how we learn. Not by words. We learn by the actions that the people who are teaching us show us. Second lesson, you can't save or make anyone save or love themselves. You will die trying. I almost did. I lost my self-care and self-love fighting for that dream, which means my mirror on my husband was not showing him how to find himself when he was in the dark place and lost. No words can save someone at that point. Your own boundaries of self-love either show someone how to love you and themselves again, or they choose to not. Because by that point, we usually have enabled, ignored, gave up our boundaries, our self-love, till we are depleted and not able to save anyone. Which I know now just gives them the mirror to do the same. Be empty. Everything in this world is a mirror. It's the yin to the yang, the cause and effect. It's the rule, just like gravity. Third hard lesson, when you lost who you are and try to start finding it again, and you don't even recognize yourself when you don't even know how you got there. You try and find you again, dream again, claiming time and space and energy for you again. You need to know, one, it won't be easy. But another rule to this journey is You will first be tested on how bad you want it. It starts with people you love blaming you for everything. Everyone you have given pieces away to will fight the change. They'll call you selfish, fight every aspect of what you're doing to breathe again. This goes for anything, whether it's a bad marriage, bad job, loving someone with addiction, helping a victims, friends that really don't want to get better because they get more attention and feel more comfortable broken. I know you know what I'm talking about. They're truly scared to do the work and fear what would actually happen if they succeeded. Fourth lesson, we aren't in control of what happens to us. We are in control of how we react in those moments. That one sucked to learn. We don't get to control the crazy life events that they throw at us. We are in control of how we react. If we can put ourselves in their shoes and have empathy, even when someone hurts us, we get to choose if we smile or have a resting bitch face towards a stranger. We get to choose if we turn pain into power or if we blame it and give it power. We get to choose if we come from love and compassion. We get to choose if we still claim our boundaries or allow ourselves to shrink to fit into someone else's box, because sometimes we just hurt that bad and are so lost that anything is better than nothing. I got to choose my actions through my hell and my reactions when my husband needed love, help, and support to survive. When he had a mental breakdown, I chose to share his vulnerable situation with his family, which was against everything he had asked of me. I know why now. He hadn't been taught how to process emotions like many of us. He had been taught to bury them, hide them, show strength, when really that causes us to be weak. His family and some friends disowned me and my daughter that day. After 18 years of being family, they couldn't see him hurting like we did. They couldn't see that he had been dealing with this in silence, and now it was just at a tipping point where we were reaching out. They couldn't see their strong son who helped everyone and was always the backbone as being a vulnerable person who needed mental help, tools, everything. He needed all of that. He hadn't learned it. He left the rehabilitation center my daughter and I checked him into. And prior to that, we had to claim our boundaries of getting help and always having us there to support him if he did. Only reason I had the strength to do this was because my 17-year-old daughter, she had to remind me, because I forgot, that me and her father had taught her that it didn't matter who was breaking your boundaries, who was disrespecting you. Even if it was me or dad, you don't allow it in your space. He was getting bad. He wasn't safe with us in the house. I had forgot because I had given all of me trying to save him as he was slowly dying, and so was I. He knew his other option was to run from getting helping tools, but he knew he wouldn't have us willing to watch him slowly die if he did. Because of those emotions that he couldn't bury and use any of his old ways that he had known how to survive this time, this was my biggest lesson, the self-love with boundaries. It's actually boundaries that we have learned through our life, our stories, our pain, our silence. If we don't speak up about them, doesn't every time when it resonates and claim it and surround ourselves with people that honor them, we are teaching whoever it is that we approve of those actions. We choose to take that burden on, which I have learned now shames us, shames our story, and shames our past struggles, which we blame, especially here in Utah County, for everyone else shaming us. Guess what? We're shaming ourselves by our mistakes. It's the mirror again. They're just mirroring back what you aren't showing up and willing to claim as a boundary for yourself, which is self-love. So when that first thing hits and happens, it makes you cringe and you don't speak up, just say, I'm so sorry, but that just struck a nerve in me, even if you don't know why. Say it with love. If you don't know why, or you do know why, then share the vulnerable reason and story from your past that honors you and shows them how to love and respect you going forward. Claiming a boundary is truth. It is refreshing for someone who does care about you. It also honors your story, your journey, your life, while sharing and showing them how to do the same thing for themselves. The good mirror. knowing you won't judge or shame them for any little or huge boundaries that hit coming up in the future, which all women listening to this right now, as you grow, if your love of your life starts shutting down, so we take more of their responsibilities and burden on us, which hurts us, that isn't helping them. That takes away their purpose for showing up, for being the provider and a man, which means they can't show any vulnerability and tell us what's going on. They really feel so lost and less of a man that if they actually tell us what they're feeling, the last pieces of their manhood will go with it. Allow them the space to speak, fail, grow, support them. Don't just try and fix the immediate problem in front of us. My husband knew that he would lose his immediate family if he got help because they couldn't handle it. In the end, he ran out of the treatment center and slowly died over that next year until he ultimately killed himself during that year at the end. He was told during that year to forget us, abandon us. He was told we were selfish and so many other horrible things that he didn't believe, and would sneak off to text me and tell me through random texts throughout that year because we really didn't communicate that year. His body wasn't found for a year. During that year, many nasty, angry things came from his family, friends, mother, and friends attacking and blaming us for his death. I had to choose in those moments and learn to see a woman, a mother that knew her own shame, pain, guilt ended up actually enabling his death. I am so grateful I did everything in my power to save him and learned that I can't save anyone. No one can. I couldn't imagine the pain she has to carry. So if she wanted to hurt me and my daughter, I would just look at my daughter and explain that Grandma doesn't hate you, honey. This is her mirror. That's her own pain. She just needs some kind of avenue to blame and put on us just to be able to breathe. The poor woman tore her family apart because of her ego and not being able to see the solutions that come from pulling everyone together, friends, family, supporting, and vulnerability, and learning the tools together while we all claim what we will allow and won't allow in our lives. That for him to know what he must have to do within himself to actually keep us supporting him, I believe and know that would have saved him. That would save so many people that we are losing to depression and suicide. And one thing I want to change, we would have saved him by teaching him the tools, not by enabling the pain and victim mentality that they get. So every time she told someone how evil and crazy I was, or how he was just fine to the sheriffs and the news reporters, or people trying to search for him, even though he was missing, as she tried to cancel search parties I had scheduled, I chose to not give energy to that. I learned this extremely painful lesson of coming from love in every action and word I speak. It by no means was easy. It took everything I had to learn this lesson, but I'm so grateful I did. I see now how always giving the olive branch, not having my ego be first, taught me how to breathe again. It gave me the permission to start over without him because I was determined to honor him and nothing outside of that. I knew how much he loved his mother, which means I was going to honor her no matter what. I knew that he would want us to do that because remember, he taught me and my daughter unconditional love. He taught us we didn't judge, we loved. So I could feel him in every action I made. I could feel him pushing me to not let our life, love, and dreams he helped me achieve and fight for our whole life be forgotten or be belittled because I gave up on them. I refused to let his death be the end. So again, that man, he became a cheerleader and my badass angel now. And the reason to fight from the depths of hell and pain I was in to find me and my dreams and create a whole new foundation. Because he always knew I wanted to change the world. He told me I was crazy, but he supported it. I wanted to use my crazy brain to see the solutions instead of problems. That isn't scared to take on the impossible or be vulnerable, so vulnerable that it makes other people uncomfortable. That gets so determined that I will part the damn seas to get there if I am determined to fix something and help somebody. I had to find that again though, and who I was before. Without my better half, without my support system, and the love I had only ever known since I was 15, or so I thought. That business I started, those people in my company that learned from, taught me. I ate up every training they had. It was like my food source for all of those years, that foundation I had set within Keller Williams that I didn't realize was my new foundation. It helped me save myself. All the mindset classes, all the tools I had learned and ate up, all the mentors, coaches, other agents, even just in the industry. I've realized that they were my family and friends. I wasn't alone. I filled the huge hole that was left and I was lost in. The tools and support from them and everything I had learned suddenly and slowly started reminding me of what I needed to do to breathe again, to dream again, new goals all over again, to figure out my new why and purpose, because as moms, we wrap it around our whole family. So I had to dream just for me this time, for just my purpose and what I was willing to fight for. I remember the day when I was put in charge of our Red Day, where across the nation, every office shuts down and the agents donate their time, hundreds of thousands of them put together. KW Cares team is what it's called. We put together a project. I was in charge of it that year, and I chose a library in Provo for a school that had no color, no budget for new books or technology for 5 years. I told everyone we were going to change these kids' lives and give them a safe place to learn and dream. That day, I was definitely told I was crazy. Definitely told it was impossible to raise the funds, remodel a school library, huge school library, no less, build furniture, all of it in 7 hours. Not only did it happen, we exceeded all expectations that I had. We finished in 6. We were even able to have a kids' party and have them walk through. That day I knew anything was possible with the right people that had the right passion for change. I knew we could make massive changes in our community. I know I won't stop trying and have always and will always be the purpose of why I wake up and work so hard. That day changed me and made my dreams and my impossibles so much bigger than they were before, and they were big before. Little did I know though, that next year was the start of my hell. That growth and change I felt that day, he felt too. I was always and will always be grateful for a company that has made it a part of who they are to be okay being called crazy in our industry, to demand only people that want to grow themselves and others, that have leaders like Gary Keller and Mo Anderson that supported her fight, Mo's, for her dream to change communities, to connect and help each other on that one day even across the whole nation to be donated. Everybody donates your time and what is possible in just one day. If anything, I'm grateful to have leaders that have fought to be able to have a foundation that I learned how to breathe again. Their mission, her mission was fully accomplished with me, and I will never stop paying it forward. Slowly and painfully, I had to feel it all to heal it. To heal the loss, the abandonment, things that came up that I had never had, failure, everything that was part of my story and the blame I put on myself going through hell. But I was in a class one day at Keller Williams. It was even a class I had taken years before. The instructor said something that hit me. When we find ourselves in hell, we don't build a house and plant flowers. We're passing through. You see the pain, you feel it, and see what you need to do to work on to climb out of hell. I left that class that day knowing I had to burn down that house in hell. The story that I had told myself where I had blamed my success, my dreams for him losing himself. I had to instead see where my fingerprints were, where I allowed it, ignored it, stayed busy, enabled him to get to the point with all the pieces of myself I had given up along the way. I won't say it was easy by any way, shape, or form. Burning that house down, it had freaking flowers, even cute curtains in my hell I had created. This was a huge lesson I see in people every day, which is a big one. It's lesson 6, the hell thermometer. hell thermostat. Just like we know what hot and cold is because we give it a name and a thermometer, we have to do the same thing with the joy and our pain in hell. If we don't know when and what was our own hell, we always can recreate the same pain and emotional drain from traffic and a bad day. I know my hell. I know that bad day is nothing comparable. I know I have the power to come from love in hell. So every day not in hell, you better believe I know how to react to every situation with love and loss of an ego. I just wish and hope and pray everybody one day decides to label their hells. Just so you will always know when you aren't in it. You will always be able to look back and see how far you've come and give yourself grace to screw up and get back up while giving others your love and the same grace. Loving yourself is showing others the way to earn forgiveness and be back in your space with boundaries. They have to earn it though by respecting those boundaries and claiming their own. I've rebuilt my dreams, my life, my purpose. I've rebuilt my business to represent who I am today, now, after hell, with my heart in every aspect, from helping in the community to helping others with huge dreams, just not the right perspective at the moment for their solutions. Everyone is good at something. Everyone has a superpower. I just used to belittle mine and didn't realize I was using it to try and save victims. From teenagers I took in, trying to pay it forward, women on the team or in my life or in the office that I would try and help, even clients. Now, I don't want to help someone who hasn't labeled their hell. They have to be reaching up and asking for help and open to receiving it. Even if they are currently in hell, they have to know they deserve to be happy and have dreams. So that when I show them how to get there with a step-by-step plan, they or you can embrace it, not fight it and find every reason why it's impossible. It's always easy to see that it's impossible. We give ourselves the excuse of why we can't have our dreams. We build walls around our dreams. So just imagine for a second, if I tore down all the walls and gave you the path to your dreams, would you be able to embrace them? Would you be able to believe you actually deserve them? Or would you be terrified of achieving them? Or so excited to have the path supported and my magical superpower that's helping you along the way and has your back? If you're ready, I'm a strategist. I'm a solution finder, the planner, the organized freakazoid, systems person. I just know it now and embrace it. Whether it is a millennial buying their first home, my brain shows you how to buy a home every 5 years and structure a plan so that you retire with a net worth in the millions and $16,000 a month in income, and it started off your first home with no money down. Best part is in that if you keep them long term, even in a downturn, rents go up. And everybody has to have a place to live. Even my older retired clients that are retiring at the end of their life and they realize and they're terrified because they don't have a retirement, but you have the equity in your home. I have taken that equity and structured them a plan as well, where we will buy a few rentals, still buy them their dream home, and we don't have to kill their retirement dreams. There's always a different perspective. If you are willing, I'm here to help you figure out how, the house. You don't have to do that part. I even have done many strategy and planning meetings to help clients out of their own hell, using what they have and with a plan, but it takes work. We have become so accustomed to this instant gratification. Anything worth having is birthed. You have to nurture it, feed it, and follow a plan, just like having a baby. But if we have the right support system and plan, you will get there. If this resonates with you or want to chat, I'm always here, even if it's just because you need to know where to turn next in your hell. I know that map pretty well, and I have the conveyor belt of people. So if you're ready to trace whatever dreams you have, whether it's in real estate, life, changes in our community that you think I can help with, I am here to support however I can. I am Alicia Terry, and this was my hell story.